observe it if it's filled properly. This is actually mainly how you use it. It's a quite handy, quite straightforward instrument, quite easy to use. Will give you 3-digit accuracy, measure the temperature as well, because density is depending on temperature and you need to know the temperature. It does display a 4th digit, but it doesn't save it. It is related to one ASTM norm, but to several ISO norms as well. In this ASTM norm, you need to have minimum requirement of 3-digit accuracy. It is very robust, very nice to clean, easily set. It is flat if you lie it on the table. A hydrometer is round, so a hydrometer will roll over off the table and break. And there is the possibility in some labs, and especially where you work with a lot of solvents, to have an intrinsically safe, meaning an explosion-proof instrument, which we do have. And if you work with a lot of hydrocarbons, the petrol version has a housing which is more resistant to hydrocarbons. Nevertheless, the others are, for example, as well very resistant, so a typical application is measuring sulfuric acid with it, and of course they withstand the sulfuric acid. Of course you have to be careful to a certain extent in cleaning and so on, but you can easily measure sodium hydroxide or sulfuric acid concentration with this instrument. There's the possibility to have an elongated filling tube for easier sampling from tanks and drums. And for more protection, we recommend using a rubber housing, which then goes around here, and a wristband, especially if you want to use it in out of the field or in the storage facility application, where we know that people do not really take care about things so much. It has the possibility to read out so-called RFID tags. RFID tags you can, if you always measure at the same positions or the same methods, the user doesn't have to be very skilled when it just goes with the instrument to the RFID tag. The instrument will automatically identify what's in the RFID tag written, so it can say, okay, this is measuring position 1, the solvent storage. We'll switch to the concentration methanol, for example, and you will get a reading in concentration percent methanol, for example, not only density. As well, it does record the temperature, because this is important, because you need to know temperature. This is important as well, because there is some tables and some requirements where you have to record the data, the density at a certain temperature. Nevertheless, you measure at a different one, because this instrument does not control, it does only recognize the temperature. So there is tables in for a number of substances where the density can be calculated to a certain reference temperature. This is mostly specifically used in fuel applications where they have to go to a certain temperature. Nevertheless, you can set this up in a custom table if necessary. And the instrument on a lower level can be as well pharma qualified. This is something I'm going to go into in the rest of the day, still what this does mean. So it's very nice and very easy to use if you need a 3-digit density meter which is portable. If we need something which is more accurate, or where you have a broader range of temperature, or if you actually have temperature control, we need to go into the benchtop density meters or measuring in the lab. You most probably have seen these instruments. This is how our DMA M generation instruments look like. Amphibad does have a long-lasting history of instruments. Some of you might still know the DMA 48. This is an instrument which is basically 2.5 generations older than this. I see them still in the lab. So we work quite a lot on long-lasting instruments. That's one thing. Of course, you have the benefit now, modern technology, big touchscreen, big screen, high accuracy, easy to use. We do have different models. Actually, the temperature range is now up to 100 degrees. Makes sense, because if you have a water-based sample, everything above will lead to boiling, and then you can't measure any density anymore. We do have, as I said, a density meter going up to 200 degrees for not water-based samples and high temperatures, which is the DMA 4200. DMA 4100 M, accuracy of 4 digits, temperature accuracy of 0.05 degrees. This is basically the workhorse and the most sold one, which is the DMA 4500M, which is then 5 digits accuracy, bit better temperature accuracy. It's the most sold benchtop density meter which we sell. They sell in several hundreds a year. Nevertheless, we do have something more accurate, one in the 6 digit or one in the 5.5 digit to be actual, completely correct, which is the DMA 5000M. So if you need to be very, very accurate, very exact, then this is the instrument to go. All have the same general benefits and ease of use. All have the same benefits of the big screen, of the Anton-Bar modularity, of the Anton-Bar capabilities on handling the instruments, on quality and so on. Just a matter of the accuracy you need and the application you have. The cell inside there is a glass cell, so the oscillator in there is a glass oscillator. So of course, I mean, any chemist here in the room could immediately tell me one substance which is not suitable to be measured in there. So we can't measure hydrofluoric acid if you are a chemical laboratory. Nevertheless, HF can be measured with the DMA 4200, because the 4200 has a metal cell inside. Nevertheless, HF measurements is quite a special application. This instrument, nevertheless, can be used in the chemical lab for measuring sodium hydroxide, sulfuric acid, other acids like nitric acid concentration, HCl concentration, namely what it is, methanol, ethanol concentration. So there is quite a lot of possibilities what you have in there. Here this is some applications which we have here, and this is Petro, but generally we do have a number and a lot of instruments in beverage, in pharmaceutical plants, chemical industry, whatever you need. Wherever you need to measure density or concentration of binary solutions, we can help you. Just some quantities which are in by default in every of the instruments. So we have a number of ethanol tables in. So table means will not only just display you the density, but it will immediately as well display you a concentration of a binary solution. I guess everybody knows what a binary solution is. Binary solution is the solution of one solvent, it is a solvent, and one thing which is dissolved in this solvent. So for example, salt, NaCl in water, sugar in water, ethanol in water is nothing else than a binary solution. Of course, our systems are not limited to measuring binary solutions, but if you measure something which is a ternary solution, so solvent and two components, you have to be aware that density is a cumulative value, so the density meter cannot differentiate between the two parts which are in a ternary solution dissolved in the solvent. So if you, for example, would dissolve sugar and ethanol in water, it will give you an overall density value. The instrument, of course, will only measure an overall density. All of the concentration tables are calculated out of the density, so you cannot distinguish between the amount of sugar and ethanol unless, and that's the thing, you use a second measuring possibility. We do have a very specific combinable alcohol meter which specifically measures ethanol, for example, and is not affected by the sugar. Meaning, practically, if you combine this with the density meter, you can measure an ethanol sugar solution. Just a hint, an ethanol sugar solution is nothing else than beer at the end, where you can accurately determine the so-called extract content, which makes the taste of the beer and the residual sugar, and the alcohol content, but you need two measurements in there. The other possibility to determine one thing in a ternary solution is if you have a ternary solution which is, for example, always water, always the same amount of one component, and the only changing amount is the second one, because then it's not affected by any changes in compound 1. But generally, density meters measure cumulative values, so you will only be able to determine concentration of one component in that solution. Respectively, it will always treat the solution as one component solutions, as binary solutions. Nevertheless, there is a lot of tables in, like we do have certain sugar tables. Sugar tables means sugar in water. There is a lot of tables where this is needed. So for sugar production, if you prepare some syrups, if you prepare Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you can easily measure that because they need the so-called Brix content. But you can as well go by sugar by mass or concentration. There is ready-made tables for a lot of chemicals in there. For example, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, hydrofluoric acid is not possible. Phosphoric acid, HCl, so chlorine acid, or sodium hydroxide, where you can give out weight by weight percentage, or mole per liters, or whatever you need. We actually, speaking about the chemical industry, introduced a special DMA 4500M now, which is so-called chemical. It does have a bit limited connectivity to other instruments of Antwerp, but it does have, I think, 140 or even more ready-made chemical concentration tables in. So name basically any salt you want to dissolve in water. We do have a table in the DMA 4500M chemicals in. Having less connectivity, it's a slight little bit cheaper, I think, than the normal DMA 4500M. Less connectivity means, which you will see in the second to next presentation, about the connection with a polarimeter or refractometer. Nevertheless, we can still connect autosamples if necessary. Of course, we do have a lot of so-called API functions. API functions are very petroleum-related functions, so density at certain degrees of API grading and so on. This is basically to go. Nevertheless, it's not a conclusive list. There's a lot of other tables in as well by standard. You can look it up on our webpage if necessary to give you an indication. So what are the key features of a DMA-M? As this you can see, this is actually a picture of the YouTube. We do have something which we call the filling check. Filling check does detect bubbles in filling. It is not working on the picture which you see on the screen. It is working on a physical principle, being the oscillation frequency, being the filling, and so on. So this is basically working to avoid misfilling and to give good measuring results, because it will not start the measurement as long as it detects bubbles. On the other hand, for you as the user to be able to determine if it's properly filled as well, we do have the U-View. U-View is a live picture of the YouTube, always able to be seen on the screen. It visualizes the whole YouTube. Unless competitors which don't show the whole YouTube, this does visualize the whole one, which is very important because you see it from both beginning to the end if it's properly filled. Software of the system is quite easy and intuitive to use. You can restrict software changes to certain user levels. On the one hand, if you are lab manager, on the other hand, it's quite nice and easy to use on the big screen which we have here. You can display a lot of values which you want. So the density at a certain temperature, the actual temperature, the measuring condition. It's quite easy to use. Everybody who uses a smartphone can quite easily and quite nicely operate this instrument as well. Quite straightforward and easy to use in that case. And it can be connected to a number of auto-samplers. So if you have a lot of samples or hard to fill samples, depends a lot of samples. If you have auto-samples with 40 up to 80 position carousel. On the other hand, if you have something which is very, which is high viscous, we have an auto-sampler being able to assist you in proper, continuously good filling of high viscous samples, for example, in that case as well. We do have heated auto-samplers, so it's all not a big problem. Depending on the sample, if you need to automatize filling, we can help you in that case. Optional accessories are available, like keyboards. If you have to type in a lot of sample names, there's the possibility to connect an aerosol adapter to measure the liquid content of an aerosol spray can, a cooling kit if you have to work on lower temperatures. We always recommend a drying cartridge, especially in climates like here, because the drying cartridge is going to dry the air which is sucked into the system to kind of float the system and avoid condensation. Of course, printers, a barcode reader, if you need a bigger screen, you can add a big screen on top. So that's the point. If you have samples which are solid under normal room temperature condition, we do do have heating attachments, so if you, for example, want to measure some wax-like samples, which gets liquid at 80 degrees, we have heating attachments for where it goes into the system to be liquid when we fill it. One application, staying chemical application, is alcohol, meaning methanol or ethanol measurement. Who uses it? So, for example, pharmaceutical industry, biodiesel fuel cells, where we can easily, with a water methanol or water ethanol, of course it has to be clean either or, give you out the weight by volume, percentage by volume, the percentage by weight, the moles per liter is the specific gravity. What is interesting, if you would measure that with a hydrometer, so in the big open beaker, you would have to handle a lot of volume. We just use, and that's one of the big benefits of the DMA, something like 1 to 3 milliliters of sample. So you on the one hand do not consume a lot of sample, which might be quite expensive in a pharma laboratory. On the other hand, you are not handling a lot of toxic or volatile components there. You don't have to fill full beakers to put a hydrometer in. You don't have to fill full picometers to measure them. You're just 2 milliliters. You do not have much waste at the end, and you do not have much cleaning agent at the end, which you need. Bioethanol or ethanol, we do have a number of concentration tables we work according to. So this is tables which are already in if you need to measure these substances. Petroleum industry, as I said, we work in a different range of temperature. We do have special tables for a lot of petroleum applications in, but for example, we can easily as well measure alkaline solutions, corrosive solutions like sulfuric acid, nitric acid, something like that is easily measured in a density meter up to very high concentrations. So this is actually quite nice. The cell inside the glass cell is resistant to a lot of things except hydrofluoric acid at the end, but there we do have a solution if necessary as well. Aside the general instruments, we do as well have a guideline on good density measuring, which can be downloaded at this webpage, or there is even an app in the iTunes or Google Play Store, which gives you a kind of general introduction how one can measure well density, so how it is working, how you can properly fill a system. This is not only bar related, this is very much related to general good density measurement. We can provide a so-called very easy SOP, standard operation procedure, on how to measure, so that even non-skilled operators can very easily operate the system, where we explain about the cleaning, where we explain about the so-called water check, so the check with distilled water if it's giving the right result, because this is the same all over the world. Same with the air check to give you an indication if the cell is clean and measuring it is properly cleaned and fine. So what we recommend is basically at the beginning of the morning do a water check. This means fill the DMA with water and check if it gives you the right value. The software does have the possibility to guide you through that water check. Basically every user who can read and handle a lab instrument can do the water check. At the end of the day, once you clean the cell, cleaning the cell means, depending on your sample, just simply flushing the cell properly and then connecting the integrated air pump to dry it. Sometimes if you have more tedious samples, we recommend to use two different cleaning solutions. The first one should be a solution which dissolves and cleans out the sample. The second one should then be something which is very volatile. So basically, with the first cleaning solution, you flush with several milliliters of first solution, which cleans out the sample, and when the second solution cleans out the first cleaning solution, and then being highly volatile with the airflow you put through with the integrated pump can easily dry the cell. And then at the end, when you have a clean dry cell, you do a quick air check if the air density value is in the range stored in the instrument, so that you are sure that the cell is clean and dry. Quite an easy check, being able to be done by everybody in the lab to see if your instrument is working properly. So finishing, what is the Anton Bar foundation stone? We do have a density meter for every purpose. portable one if you need to measure out in the field, if you need to measure quick and only 3 digits. The benchtop ones if you need to measure accurately, if you need to have traceable results, if you need to work up to 6 digits behind the comma, one which goes up to 200 degrees, or if you need to measure under pressure up to 400 or even 1500 bars, one density meters which are integrated in production lines based on the same technology all of our density meters work. And we do have a high modularity on the instruments, so we can connect auto samples, we can connect other bar instruments to jointly basically give you good results on the density meter without the need of a computer. But for that I will come to in the second to next presentation. And before I close like kind of the first session, too much, that was not the idea. Found it again. I was talking about that we do have some videos. So let me see. Let me show you a video which is on the one hand the TMA35. Just different industries we can cater with density. Three-digit accuracy, very high reliability, very precise. It has temperature compensation, so it can record the temperature, but of course not control it, for that it's too small. It is very handy. Very light. Quite robust. And can be operated with only one hand. Can integrate custom functions if you need them. See, there's already a lot of tables integrated, no matter what you need. There is this option of automatic RFID detection, meaning if you always measure at the same places, you can easily trace that. Stores the results, of course, and then at the end, in the lab or on the desk, you can easily print them out. Good, so far for the portable one, but as well some features of benchtop ones. So that's the 5000 amp, the most accurate one. You see the big screen. Nice and easy in terms of operation. User management if necessary. Same type of touch screens you use from your smartphone. Low sample volume. That's all you need to do to introduce a sample. Goes into the oscillating U-tube, which you see here in this animation. The air bubble does change this oscillation, will automatically give an error message in the filling check. Is this filling warning, so you are sure that this has been filled properly, and even a picture of this can be stored each time, so you can be sure that the people who measure did measure properly. There is no temperature drift. All of this U-tube is housed in a Peltier cell, and we do have a temperature compensation together with it. No problem if you have sticky samples. Can fill up to 30,000 millipascal seconds in viscosity. It's a bit harder to fill, but we do have an auto sampler which can cater that. And you still can measure. Do have full range viscosity correction because at high viscous samples, if you measure them, they need viscosity correction because viscosity affects the density and especially the oscillation before it. So it's a very robust, a very convenient instrument if you need to measure density and concentration of liquids or semi-solids. Respectively with that, I came to the end of the first session. We talking for about more than an hour now. I think we all deserve a little break. So I think there is tea outside for 15 minutes. I would say let's make a tea break and then go on with the rest of the Anton Pah instruments. Okay? So thanks a lot for your attention the first round, and we'll see you in 15 minutes.
Measurements and others.
If not, just ask me next break or whatever, take the notes or interrupt me if you have any acute questions about what I'm doing.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll get set, we'll switch off the lights and the table is full.
Good. Hopefully everybody had a coffee already. Let us go on. We started with what is the foundation stone of Anton Pah, which is density measurements. As said, in density measurement for liquids and semi-solids, Anton Pah is global technology and market leader. You won't find a better company than us in that field. Of course, on a long-term run, this is not enough. Companies needed to grow, we needed to extend the portfolio, so we have a number of other instruments. I gave a short overview of the product lines already, but now let's move into the range of polarimetry and refractometry. Most of you might be familiar with that, so refractive index and optical rotation. And what Anton Pah does have and cater in that section. So let's start with refractive index, or how the instruments are called from Anton Pah, the so-called ABEMAT instruments. We do have a whole family of instruments in that area. ranging from various instruments which we'll see. But basically for everybody who is not familiar with refractive index, let's give you a little indication what this is. Basically this morning when you were getting up, you were using products which have been checked by refractive index before. You might ask, why do we know that? Because refractive index is an extremely easy to use, quick quality control factor. So basically, possibly everything you used this morning in the bathroom has been at least partially checked with refractive index if it's according to specifications. This goes on at breakfast, where you can use the same. Refractive index is one of the quickest, one of the easiest possibilities to do quality control checks on the one hand, pure substances, so chemicals, solvents, or whatever it is, but as well on the other way on complex samples, because all what you want to check a complex sample, all what you have to know is the target refractive index it has to have. So what a good sample has on value, then you can compare if your current production is according to that value. Of course, one slight condition, if when it's wrong, the refractive index changes at all. But for a lot of samples this does change, so it's a quick, quite nice check if you are on the level and at the standard you need to have your sample. So basically said, we call it every sample has its refractive index, no matter what it is, ranging from, as I said, anything from pure chemicals, pure solvents, up to complex products where you have to have a reference what is a good sample, but nevertheless you can easily measure refractive index. Refractive index measurements do have certain advantages, which I will go through, which I will come through when speaking about the instruments. So what we have here is the Abemat family. You see the shape might be quite familiar, so they're a bit smaller than a density meter. There is the Abemat, the normal Abemats, there is the Performance Plus line, and there is actually now they look different, a line which we call special Abemats, which are either high temperature, multiple wavelengths, and which can be actually be employed under very harsh conditions. Practically speaking, the normal laboratory Abemat refractometer is either of them, so one with a smaller screen and buttons, or one with, as you are used from the density meter, with a touch screen. So very nice and easy to handle, very easy, really resistant, so very nice instrument. Bit of general introduction. What is refractive index and why to measure it? So for a pure material, the refractive index of it is a physical property. So it can be used to identify a material. Basically you measure a refractive index and then you look up